Welcome to Alretian's Modern Terrain Craft channel. Today, this is what we are going to be making. This is part 1 of our garage building. So stay tuned and I'm going to show you how to make this. Hi guys, Alretian here. To stay in the same line as our apartment building, today we're gonna make another building. We're gonna be making a garage box. So stick around and we'll craft this one up. Okay, welcome back. So, what I did, I pre-measured this, and the entire length from this piece, the entire bottom piece, is in total 20 centimeters from left to right. What I then did was mark a halfway point, well, not a halfway point, but I measured 13 centimeters from here to here and drew up this line to make the front build, well, the first piece of the building, the higher part. That's 13 centimeters. The height is 18 centimeters in total. Then what I did with this piece, I measured from the bottom down up 9 centimeters. And I did the same here. I measured up, but I measured 7 centimeters. And then connected a diagonal line from the 9 centimeter to the 7 centimeter to give us this look of our building. Then from the top, just the same like with the apartment building, 3 centimeters, draw a line. Then for the garage gate itself, I took the 13 centimeters and measured the halfway point, which is 6.5, marked it. Then from the 6.5, I measured 4 centimeters to the left, 4 centimeters to the right, and drew up a line that is 8 centimeters in height. So we got 4 centimeters like so, 4 centimeters like so. So basically we get a square of 8 centimeters. The same with the door. I took this part, which is 7 centimeters, measured the halfway point, measured 5 centimeters up, and half a centimeter and a half to the left, centimeter and a half to the right for our door. Now we're going to be cutting this out and then we'll be right back. So I've cut this out, see? Nice shape for a building. What we're going to do next is simply take another piece of foam board, and instead of measuring all those things again, we're simply going to be placing this on top of, make sure you find the straight edge to put it on. It will make things a lot easier for you, believe me. And simply use this as a template to draw out the contours of the building. You don't have to do the garage gate for this part or the door. This is simply the back wall of the other part, okay? And then next, take our box cutter and we're gonna be cutting this out again. Draw across the lines. Okay, so I'll be back when this is done. So, as you can see, we have our front piece and our back piece. Smoothen it out a little. So this will... Okay, next what we're gonna do is make our side wall for here. Okay, so again, we take some more foam board. Simply use this piece I've cut off, then measure it my way, the height of this wall, and this kind of depends how long you want your building to be. For instance, on my case, I think I'm gonna take it about 16 and a half centimeters, sounds about right. So we mark 16 and a half centimeters, and the same for the bottom. Draw our lines. Like so, and I'm gonna cut this out. Simply using my box cutter. Make sure that you use a sharp knife always when you're cutting, and always better to put something underneath it, because I'm not at home at my regular workspace, so I don't have my cutting mat here. Careful not to cut in your fingers, guys. But yeah, don't need to show you how you guys need to cut, right? So yeah, simply cut this out. And we have our side wall. It's not the biggest building, but it'll do. So yeah. Okay. Now I'm gonna do the same. Cut out a piece of 16 and a half centimeters for this side and the top side, and when that is done, I'll be back. Okay, what I did was I've measured out all the pieces. So our back piece, front piece. I have my top wall for here. I have my side wall for here, and this is the bottom wall, but I took 2 centimeters of each side, measured 1.5 centimeters up, 1.5 centimeters down, so 3 centimeters, 3 centimeters, and I basically just drew in 3 windows, which I'm gonna cut out now just to add a little bit more flavor to our building. So simply cutting out our windows here, and when that's done, pop them out. Voila. And this will look a lot nicer if we put this on the side of our building. And we're also going to be placing bars through here. Okay. For this part, I'm using one of those, remember these rectangular barbecue skewers? I'm using one of these, and I simply find the centerpiece of my window and push it all the way through. See? Now I'm simply going to cut off these ends, and I have those nice midway bars, and ain't nothing blocking here, so we can glue on the windows later. But yeah, do this, and I'm gonna cut off these bits. Now for these things, I like to use my garden shears, just there, because they have a little bit more power to them to snip it off. But you can use your regular scissors, but it's a little harder to cut through these with the regular scissors, but it's possible. See? And voila. It also gives some nice strength to this piece. Okay? Now for some good news, I've laid out all the pieces. For some good news for you guys, camera back in the right position. We're not gonna be drawing in bricks. Yay! So what I'm gonna do now is peel off the paper of the front ends, and I'm gonna show you how, because this is gonna be a concrete building. So I'm gonna show you how you get a concrete effect in your foam board, okay? So I've peeled off the paper of all my parts, Be sure to mirror the sides because this is the back piece and this is the front piece. So if you peel it off while it's like that, it won't match. So make sure you hold these two ends like so, and that you peel off the correct part. But if you don't, it doesn't matter, you just peel off the other side. Now for the concrete effect, what I like to do is simply take a small aluminum foil, tin foil ball, and I simply roll it around. Probably won't be able to see it, but believe me, it makes for a nice concrete effect. Just take your ball, you can even simply press it down just to get that dented look. You can use a bigger ball, but I didn't have all that much aluminum foil here, so simply took a small part. Be creative, right guys? So yeah, basically that's what you do. Make indents in your foam board, and we're gonna do that for all our pieces. We're gonna make indents that will leave us with a nice concrete look once we paint this thing up. Okay, I'll be back when that's done. Okay, so all my pieces are done. Went rather fast. I simply rolled the tin foil across it, and I don't know if you can pick it up on camera. Now what we're gonna do next, before we glue these things together, is find something for our door. And what I use is simply, remember from our shipping containers, this corrugated paper. Well, this makes for a nice looking garage door. Now if you don't have this corrugated paper, simply take a piece of tin or thick, doesn't matter, cardboard, peel the paper off, so expose the corrugation and cut through it. There are enough tutorials on how to do that, so I'm not going to show you that, but I have this, so might as well use it. Now what I simply do is, I'm not going to take the entire piece, just cut out a section, something like this. I'm just eyeballing this guy, so voila. See? And we're going to glue this on the back, and it will give me that nice garage door feel. Now excuse me, as for this door, we're gonna do a door the same way like we did the other, except I'm gonna put a small window in this door just for variation. So I've taken a piece of cardstock. This was actually that held my glue gun sticks, and yeah, same deal. Put it on the back, make sure you hit the edges before you glue it, turn it around, it will look something like this. Now you excuse me, take your pen and simply sketch out where you want your window to be. Something like this will do fine. We're gonna cut this part out. Okay? So I'll quickly show you. Take your box cutter or X-Acto knife, simply cut through the lines. See? Peep. And again, listen here. Voila. And if you look at it like this, you're starting to get a nice looking front for our building. See? Okay, so now next what we're gonna do is glue all this stuff together. I quickly changed something, well not changed, but added something, which I often do when I'm crafting. I felt, except for the garage and the front door, I had to do something else, and that's make a back door. So what I do is, I'm not gonna cut this out, just simply draw about 3 centimeters on 5 centimeters for the back door. Simply draw it just the way like we did with our apartment building. Just, oops, sorry. And simply take my ballpoint pen, run it through, kind of made a pattern like so as well, so it will look nice when we paint this up. And I simply added a back door on our back wall piece. indentations, as you can see, but don't cut through it. Simply take your knife, score it, and then with the ballpoint pen simply go across the lines you've cut with your knife. Make that texture pop out, don't worry about that. And voila, we have a back door. Now I'm waiting for my hot glue to heat up, and then we're gonna glue everything together. So the glue gun has heated up a little. Now I'm taking my front piece and squirting hot glue on the side of the smaller wall. And I take my windowed wall and simply make sure I don't drop everything. And glue it on. Wipe away the excess. You gotta hold it in place for a little bit so that you can let it cure. Like so. See? Now I'm gonna do the same for the side wall. Yeah, this was actually an experiment. Look, I will show you this in later videos. Something, a brick pattern. It's this textured wallpaper. Something, yeah, I don't know what you call it in English, but it's a textured wallpaper, and it kind of looks like brick. It's something you put on the wall and you paint over it. It was an experiment. I've painted it black, but I have an entire roll of this, so I'm gonna try that out in a upcoming video later on. But for now, first take our glue gun again. Make sure you put enough on there, and take your piece. Make sure you put it on the right way, correct? Like so. Hold it in place. See? I should in time try to do the rabbiting technique with cutting it out, but I will eventually. Now, see? Now we're simply just gonna glue the top part on. So I'm gonna squirt the hot glue on this side. Simply place the piece on top. Like so. Hold it in place. Put a little bit of a pressure, not too much guys, just a little bit of pressure on it so it cures faster. And then for the final piece, I'm gonna do the same thing. Squirt the hot glue. Trying to work on camera, it's not always that handy, but we'll get there. Voila! Just let it cure. See? Starting to get a nice looking building part. As for the next part, what we're gonna do before we're gonna glue our sidewalls is I'm simply gonna glue in my garage door. Now I'm gonna put my hot glue down here. I don't know if you can see it. Squirt it on. Take my door. Be sure you align the bottom, guys, okay? That's the most critical part, that it aligns nicely with the bottom. Okay? And it will look like this. See? Very nice looking. Now we're going to do the same for our front door. Squirt the hot glue inside. I don't know if you're picking this up because I'm not looking at my camera phone at the moment. I'm looking at what I'm doing. Do the same thing, same deal. Nicely kind of screw it up a little bit. Well, I'll just simply make the hole wider because I wasn't looking what I was doing. But I'll quickly make this hole a little wider, okay? There we go. Quick thinking, quick fixing, quick solutions. Okay, our building. Well, part of it anyway. But it's a nice terrain piece. It's not all that big, but it's a nice piece. So now we're gonna be gluing our wall here. So I'm taking my glue gun. Pour some on there. Simply press it in, like so. Let the glue cure for a bit, and then, oops, gotta hold it in place a little longer. Maneuver it a little bit and let that cure for a second. Squirt it to hot glue here, and then simply placing this, aligning it with the wall and pressing down, and hold it in place. Let it cure. See? Now we're gonna do our little roof part here. For the roof, I'm simply taking some tin cardboard, simple tin cardboard. I marked out roof, and simply gonna squirt my hot glue on here and on here. Take my roof, align one end, like so, press it down. You don't have to pre-measure or anything. Well, you can, of course, pre-measure it. It makes it easier, but I'm not doing that. And simply on the inside, taking my hot glue and squirting it. On the outside, I'm doing this on the inside. Put some good amount of hot glue on there. No, I'm gonna need a new stick of hot glue. Voila. Simply run it along the edges, making the roof tightly fit. So that won't come loose. Okay, now next we're gonna do, putting aside my glue gun because I won't be needing it in a second. Simply gonna take a scissor and I'm gonna lop off this end and this end here. I've placed my camera up higher so you can get a better view. I simply leave about half a centimeter space on this side. I have a bit of an overhang, and then simply do the same on the other side. Actually, no, I'm gonna, yeah, I'm happy. You guys can decide for yourself how you want to do this, of course. But yeah, that's it. And your minis can actually stand on this with no problem, so. Looking good, guys. Our garage box building is looking good. Now, of course, we're not done. We're gonna put more details on there, and but before we do that, we're gonna be placing on something on top of here for the top roof. Okay? To do that, for me it's very simple. You can measure this entirely, guys, but for me, I'm simply taking my glue gun, squirting a good amount on the top, like so. I'm taking one of my off-cut pieces and I simply press down on top of it. You're thinking, what the hell is he doing? Well, I will show you. Okay. Glued on nicely there. And then I simply take my box cutter and cut along the edge, like so. See? Simply cut along the edge, and I'm going to do that with all the sides. Voila! So I simply took my box cutter, laid the building flat, cut around, same here, same here, same here, to get that top of the roof where the miniatures will be standing on. Now the next thing we're gonna do, and then I have a gap here, I'm gonna fill that up with some hot glue. What we're gonna do is cut out a strip of 3 centimeters foam board, and we're gonna be gluing that on here, on here, and on here, so we have the top of the roof. Okay, so I'll be right back. So now take your building, excuse me, and from the top of the building, you measure down 1.5 centimeters, like so. See, 1.5 centimeters. Just one part is enough, because you can eyeball the others so that they fit, and just draw a line, 1.5 centimeter line. Okay, so from the top where we placed our roof upon, from the top of that, 1.5 centimeters down. Now I've cut out 4 strips of these, simple 4 strips, and we're gonna be gluing that on, and we're gonna use this line we just drew as a guide. So we're gonna be gluing that on here, and that will actually be the top of our roof. So grabbing our hot glue gun. Okay, in the meantime, what I did, and I'll quickly show you what I'm planning to do. I'm going to build a stairs on the side of our building here, a little stairway that will lead up to this part of the roof. Now, what I didn't measure it. I simply took a piece of foam board, held it against in a cross way, like so. Wait, I'm gonna put the camera a little higher. Okay, what I did was I simply took a piece of foam board, held it against here to see how high I want my building to be, my stairs to be, and I've traced it onto another part. Then I took my knife, simply my box cutter, and started cutting through this. So basically what I did was take the other piece, simply take my knife, press down so you're through the paper, but be careful, don't cut through it, because this won't be a very sturdy piece. Cut through it on one side, it doesn't have to be all the way through on the other side, but just make indents. And then what I take is, I did take some coffee stirrers. I cut a few in about 2-inch pieces, doesn't matter about the length, and simply press them through. See? And we take our other piece and press it through. Okay? Now we're going to be doing that for all the stairs. Now you can put glue on it. I'm not going to put glue on it now, but I am going to hot glue the sides when I'm done. So it's a little bit of a playing around with this thing, but basically, see what I'm doing? Just taking the pieces, push them through, be very careful, because see, that's what happens. But no matter, I will quickly fix another one. Okay, so I've broken this piece, as you can see, but I'm not too stressful about it, because I'm simply gonna put hot glue in it. But I did discover the trick to doing this, and that's actually pressing it in with the rounded parts first. It will do less damage that way. So I'm telling you, it's a very gentle process, this one, guys, because you can see how badly things can get screwed up. You've seen me do it. So yeah, I'm taking my rounded pieces, jabbing them through, and then simply pressing them in. And I'm trashing a lot of my terrain, but I'm simply gonna hot glue that later, and then simply cut off these parts and these parts for the stairs. It will look great once I've finished killing my terrain. So I'll be back when I've placed all the steps in, okay? Okay, so my video camera, I mean my phone died while I was still doing stuff. Well, you know the struggle of the stairs, right? Now what I did is the second piece of the stairs, I simply hot glued it to the side of this building here. So, and then I took a piece of simple cardboard, the thin cardboard we used for the roof, placed it on, drew the line and measured to cover and also reinforce the side of these steps. What I did was use a lot of these, and I glued one here, measured it, cut it out, and glued one here, measured it, cut it out. I took a coffee stirrer to hide the corrugation of the cardboard, glued it on like so, and then glued two more pieces at the bottom of the steps. So I've ended up with this. What I then did was, when this was glued on, took a piece of foam board, measured out about till across the door, and glued on about an inch and a half wide piece so miniatures can stand on it, and glued it against the wall like so. So see, I ended up with this, and I glued it on top of the stairs. Then I took another piece, this, about the same in width, 3 centimeters, inch and a half, and glued that on here for the balcony part. See, I glued it simply against it. Took another piece, a smaller piece, and glued it inside here. See, so this was, so we've ended up with this. I don't know if you guys can see what I'm talking about. Then I started on a ladder, so I took again this barbecue rectangle, and I glued one here and let it stick out a little on top, and I did the same on this part. I drew 1 centimeter lines in between and already glued in one step, and then that's when I noticed my camera died. So yeah, so that's what I did so far. So for the next part, at the moment, we are gonna, I also written down drain, because I took a piece of paper drinking straw, measured it against it, because this will be our drain pipe. See? Now for the next piece I'm gonna do is simply I've measured them out. Also with you're gonna need a lot of these rectangle barbecue. You can also do them with regular skewers, but I prefer these. Now I've measured out several, and first I'm gonna start with this part, the top part of the balcony, and glue this upon here, and a smaller piece I've cut out, and it will go on top of here. See, like so. Waiting for my hot glue gun to dry, and then I'm gonna glue those on. To dry, I mean to heat up. Okay, so the glue gun has heated up, and I'm simply gonna, careful, squirt some of the hot glue on here. Take the long piece I've measured, and simply glue it on here. Away the wisp, so you can do that afterwards. The glue isn't all that hot, so I'm doing it at the moment right away. See, it gives a nice look here. Now we're gonna do the same for the small part of the balcony. Glue that on. Okay, like so. See? Looking nice. Now, what I also did was, again, with this, I took, measured it my way from the top of the balcony to the bottom of the floor here, and I've cut out 4 pieces 4 equal pieces, which I will be gluing on here. Just a nice detail. Simply hot glue them on. It's just a little detail that I like. Some support bracers. I'll do the same here. The back. Just if you want to test if they're okay, just simply set your building down, slide them a little bit so they hit the ground. Like so. See? Some nice support beams. Now, maybe I've cut off more, so maybe I'm going to do one more in the middle. Just find the centerpiece. You can measure it if you guys prefer. You know me and measuring. So simply take that piece, and you don't have to do it, guys. You don't have to glue one down here. It's not necessary, but I think it adds a little bit more to the building. Okay, let's continue. Now, for the next part, what I did was for the stairs, took my satay barbecue skewer thing, and I excuse me, took my garden shears, clipped off the pointy end, stuck it in between, took my ballpoint pen. I'm gonna measure it from the top so it's easier for you guys to see. Simply marked it. Cut out the piece. Take my hot glue gun. Small drag of the hot glue. And with the long sides, turn it around. So the flat side, just press that down. Like so. See? Like so. Now I'm gonna quickly do all the steps and then I'll be back. Okay, so I've glued in all the stairs, all the steps of the ladder. So we have our stair leading up. You can up your miniatures on this, or you can let them go to the balcony. Have access to the roof. Now for the roof, we're gonna be starting gluing the roof. Remember those 4 pieces we cut? We're gonna be using them now. So first of all, we find the front part, which we have measured with a centimeter and a half, as you remember. And we're simply taking our glue gun, squirt the glue on there, take one of the pieces, and attach it so the bottom of the piece aligns with the line you drew. Press it on, like so, make sure it aligns. Wow. Now we're gonna continue this way around. Grab one of our other pieces, line it up with this part, same deal, glue it on, put some pressure on there. And then we're simply gonna go around the roof. This will be a smaller part here and here, and I'll be back when that's done. And what you'll end up with is something like this. See? For this part I simply took the part of the roof, held it here and measured where the ladder ends, and simply drew a line, cut it in half, so I had this piece. For the rest, just simply go around. Now, if there are some crevices and cracks in between, that doesn't matter because I'm going to fill this up with hot glue. But for this, simply take your scissor. Don't mind this, that's where I glued the wrong part. But yeah, you see what I'm doing? Wow, we have a nice rooftop on the top of our building. Now, as I said, I'm gonna fill up this part with hot glue. simply go drag the hot glue across the edges. It will give a nice bond and will secure your rooftop piece. Simply press it against a little bit so the hot glue can cure to a steady, nice looking roof. Just hold this in place. It will take about 30 seconds and it will hold nicely. Okay, now it's time to add some details to our building. Just get away of minor imperfections. And what I did was simply, like for here, I don't really like the look of that. So what I do is take my hot glue gun and down a little bit like this. And I pre-measured some coffee stirrers. And I simply glue them down. Making it a little bit more nice. When we paint this up and everything, we'll get away with all those things, but for now I think it looks much better. Right, now we're gonna also be doing the same for our roof. Now again, I took one of these pieces because I really don't like the corrugation, so I'm taking my glue gun, drag it along the corrugation, take my piece I've pre-measured, simply glue it on. Looks way nicer. Now we're going to do the same for here and for here. I'll quickly show you. Squirt the hot glue on it. Take your piece. Simply glue it on. And now I'm going to continue with the last part. Okay, so I've covered the roof, as you can see. There was a gap here. Now I simply filled it up with hot glue on the inside, so when we paint it up, you won't be able to see it. Okay, we flip our piece over to the front. Grab our paper drinking straw. Remember those from the lampposts. And again, take our hot glue side. Make sure you do this side of the building, not another one, because we're going to be doing something else with this side. And simply glue on the paper drinking straw. Okay. Like so. Our drain pipe. Okay. Continuing. I've taken these tongue depressors. So it's with the rounded parts, but it's the wider ones. It's the tongue depressors, large lollipop sticks, or I don't know what you call them. We call them tongue depressors. So now what we're going to do, we're going to embellish our building a little further, and we're going to squirt hot glue at the bottom. Like so. I've cut them straight, make sure they are straight, and glue it all the way down, like so. It's just another little detail that will pop out the building a little bit more, make it more nice, to my opinion. So in here, quickly, before the glue cures, I'm going to measure where my drain is. I should have maybe done that pre-hand, but some more glue down. There we go. Nice. Okay. So this is simply another part that will give a few some more detail to your building, make it look nice. Now we're gonna continue all around. I've also quickly show you this and then I'll continue. Made one, measured it, so it's to fit underneath the stairs. So I've cut it at an angle so it will fit press it against. There we go. See? Now I'm going to continue with the rest of the building. Okay, so I've went around the entire building. You can see. See? Gives it a nice looking detail, and I've also added coffee stirrers at the bottom of the balcony, giving that some extra detail as well. So our building is starting to look rather nicely. Now, actually one more thing that remains before we're going to put it in an ink wash, and I'll show you. Okay, so I took a piece of foam board and peeled off the paper, glued, as you can see, some of the beads that I used on the door as well, and a few little knobs, also very small beads on top of this. Drew in a square, divided it. This will be actually something when we paint it up that's going to be our light for the garage door. So I put some hot glue down in the middle of our garage and simply glue that on straight, like so. See? And then what I've taken are a few pieces of sprue, off-cut sprue. You can use toothpicks, but I had the sprue, so I figured might as well use them. But yeah, I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do. So I've got these pieces of sprue. I dry fitted them. I pressed down because this one has a point, so I simply press down. Now I take my hot glue gun, squirt some on the sprue. I don't know if you guys can see what I'm doing. Wait. Now there is no right or wrong way to do this, so I simply take my glue gun, smear it on my... The only right way is your imagination. Just glue the sprue on there. So just a small piece because I'm a little piece missing in there. Put that in. As I said, there's no right or wrong way to do this, guys. Put the hot glue on the sprue. You will get a lot of strings, wisps, whatever you want to call it. That's okay. You can simply remove them afterwards. Will be like electricity and stuff running around that controls your garage gate. Could see. Oh, what I also did was I've dented it. Simply took my nail or simply pressed down on it to give it a little bit more of a worn effect, so that it's not all that perfect. See? So basically now our building is done. So our building is done, and all that remains now is the same like we did with the apartment complex. Let's give it a wash and then paint it up. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed part 1 of this tutorial, and yeah, part 2 of how to paint our garage building will come soon. Okay, thank you for watching, guys. This was Alretian. Have fun, and thank you for watching my channel. And to all that that already have subscribed to my channel, I thank you very much. It's because of you guys that I keep finding the inspiration to make these crafts. Thank you, I really mean it, and I appreciate it. Guys, take care and see you next time for part 2. Bye.